Today we're driving the latest installment in the Prius series, the brand new Prius C. Now in this case, C stands for city, and they've tried to build a car that will really appeal to young urban consumers, especially from the Gen Y and the millennial segment. To appeal to that set of consumers, a car has to tick more than just a few boxes. It's got to have a contemporary design, it's got to be fun to drive, at least a little sporty anyway, it's got to have smart packaging to hold all your stuff, it's got to have good technology, and of course, it has to be fuel efficient. Being a Prius, fuel economy obviously comes first, and the Prius C gets the same 50 mile per gallon combined rating that the standard Prius does. But how it does it is very different. For starters, it gets a 46 mile per gallon highway rating, which isn't quite as good as the regular Prius, but it makes up for it in city MPGs with a 53 mile per gallon rating. And the idea here is obviously that the types of consumers who would be interested in this car would drive it more in the city and would really show the advantages. So while it is rated the same, if you're the type of buyer who is interested in a car like this, Toyota's betting you'll get even higher fuel economy numbers. How it achieves those numbers is by using a downsized version of Toyota's hybrid Synergy drive. It's got a smaller 1.5 liter four-cylinder, and it's been mated to smaller electrical components as well. In fact, the electrical battery is now so small that they can actually mount it underneath the rear seats, which not only helps for packaging in the rear, but it also makes the car have a better center of gravity. Now, all combined, the system produces 99 horsepower, which isn't a lot and doesn't really feel like it either, unfortunately. Much like with the engine, the rest of the Prius C has also been downsized. It's about 1.5 feet shorter end to end. It's also a little bit thinner as well. And that size change, along with the lighter electrical components and the smaller gasoline engine, mean it's over 500 pounds lighter than a traditional Prius. Even with its diminished size, Toyota has still kept a lot of functionality with the car, especially using engineering solutions like we mentioned by putting the battery pack under the rear seats. Now, as a result, it doesn't infringe on the space you get in the rear hatch. So when you open this up, it's still a sizable amount of space. You've got 17 cubic feet, and that expands to even more when you knock down the rear seats. Compared to the conventional Prius, the C is a more engaging drive, although that's not something really to boast about. It is a little bit better, and we sat through a product presentation today where Toyota engineers talked about some of the suspension modifications they've made to the chassis of the vehicle, although the biggest difference is notably the fact that it weighs more than 500 pounds less than a conventional Prius, so that really helps the car's agility. If you opt for the top-level number 4 trim package, you can actually get some larger 16-inch wheels with lower profile and slightly better tires on it. That really helps add some sport to the car. The downside, of course, of that package is that with the lower profile tires, it's a much less comfortable ride, and we really noticed it. We're actually driving that level 4 package right now. As for those all-important fuel economy numbers, the Prius C, much like the rest of the Prius family, delivers as promised. We're easy getting 50 miles a gallon in this car, even a little bit higher at times. Right now, we've been beating on it for a little bit, and it's actually dropped down to about 47 miles per gallon. But you can just watch as you continue to sort of go on your daily routine. It just keeps climbing up, and you almost can't keep it away from that number. But evaluating how the Prius drives doesn't stop there, thanks to some cool new technology features. The first one is a new eco score system that they've put in the car. Now the system will actually show you a ranking out of your past 100 drives, how you're ranking on your current drive. It'll also give you a rating based on how efficiently you've been stopping, starting, and your cruise. There's also an eco savings screen available on some of the higher trim levels, and you can actually plug in the price of fuel right now, and it will tell you over your trip just how much fuel you've used in dollars. On top of that, if you're not really convinced about the Prius's fuel economy, you can actually punch in a different screen the fuel economy of another model, and it will actually tell you the difference between how fuel efficient that one car is and the Prius C, and it'll put a dollar figure on it too. And of course, on higher trim levels, you've got Toyota's display audio system with the new Entune app that allows you to control a lot of features by downloading an app for your smartphone. And it'll give you access to things like the Bing search engine or Pandora. Plus, there's XM radio with a lot of great features that are involved in that. And we have to mention Bluetooth is standard on all trim levels for the Prius C, something that young urban buyers are definitely going to want as standard. On top of all that, The interior of the car is sort of a mishmash of typical Prius things like you see with the steering wheel, and a lot of the other interior design items really look borrowed from a car like the Scion IQ. So overall it looks pretty stylish, which is interesting because it's not exactly what we would call high grade. While I wouldn't call it gorgeous, the Prius C certainly fits the bill as a stylish and unique urbanites ride. Plus, it's got plenty of technology, it makes great use of the space available, and as we mentioned numerous times, gets exceptional fuel economy. But is it fun to drive? Well, more fun? Sure. Fun? Not so much. So 4 out of 5 ain't bad, right? Well, there is one more thing that the Prius C has going for it, and that's the price. Priced at $18,950 to start, a top-of-the-line model tops out at just over $23,000. So when compared to a regular Prius, you're saving somewhere in the tune of $4,000 to $5,000 bucks, and that should make this attractive to a lot of young buyers.